This week we have the most magical collab of this year. A new co-op ARPG that you should preferably play alone for now, and more gaming news. The early access launch of the new ARPG Titan Quest II has been a pretty great success last week, and we've seen the game being praised as a new competitor for Diablo and Path of Exile all over the media. Players love the play and feel of the game, although it's limited in content for now. But Lumi, you ask, why are you talking about a single-player game here? Because it actually does have a co-op mode for 4 players, although the Steam store still only tags it as single-player. Multiplayer is currently in an early preview state, which is functional but lacks features as well as overall polish. It states in the early access info for now. Honestly, we were a bit confused, as they went a bit back and forth on the co-op after the game was revealed, and last stated that it would not be available during early access and only be implemented on full launch. But now, it's still live? Somewhat, as the devs themselves warned that the co-op in its current state is more so experimental and rough, with bugs, crashes and potential progress loss. Player feedback has also been really mixed for those who tried it out. So if games like these are your thing, it's better to put it on your wish list and wait a little longer. There will be a price increase on full launch, which is planned for late 2026, but right now it's probably not worth it yet to play with friends. While we have often talked about collaboration in games lately, this one might be the most adorable one of them all. Freerun is coming to the survival horror game Identity V, and Studio Madhouse even produced an animated teaser trailer with a signature puppet look. One of the highlights are definitely the character skins, including Freerun, Himmel, Fern, Stark, Sein, and Aura. The crossover introduces us to a story in which the heroes enter Identity V's manor and challenge Aura the Guillotine. Players can earn free and premium event rewards during in-game challenges and visit a new map with familiar scenes from the anime. And if you loved Freerun the anime, you will be most delighted to learn that you can get the Mimic treasure chest as a piece of furniture too. Identity V is a free-to-play game for Android and iOS, but there's a PC client available too. If you've never heard about it before, we can only describe it as Dead by Daylight, but way cuter. And the similarities between both games aren't like copied homework, by the way, but actually the product of a collaboration between both studios. A fair warning though, although you can definitely play this as a free-to-play only, without the need to spend anything, it does have a gacha mechanic. And as usual for events similar to this one, some items are purchase-only bundles. So please don't come for me now, I know you all hate gacha. With the latest chapter, Ghosts of Karash, now live in World of Warcraft, players get a ton of new content. And an exciting outlook to the future too. This is the newest and last chapter of the campaign, wrapping up the expansion The War Within. Once finished, this story will lead up to the next chapter of the World Soul Saga, or in less marketing terms, the next expansion DLC, Midnight. Besides the new main story questline, we get a new zone, Karash, home to the Ethereals, which also become a new faction with renowned ranks. We get a new dungeon, delve, raid and more. Then, on August 12th, Season 3 begins with an updated M+ dungeon pool, a new PvP area and more. As we said, Midnight will be up as the next expansion, and everyone's trusty source, Wowhead, has reported on some early info on bundle prices, which will range between 50 and 90 euros or dollars. Interestingly enough, one of the most anticipated features for many players has been the player housing that Blizzard has been working on for a while now. And you guessed it, pre-orders will not only get the usual goodies, but also early access to housing. Midnight is expected to release in early 2026. We weren't sure if we should even take the time to talk about PAX Day. But the latest mess grabbed our attention, alright, so here we are. And this plays out quite similarly to the Game of Thrones series. But Season 8 in PAX Day had even worse screenwriters. Yes, really. For the players who supported PAX Day from the start, buying $100 Founders Editions, on the other hand, this turn of events is enraging. But let's start at the beginning of this tale. When PAX Day was first announced, the concept of this medieval social sandbox MMO landed really well with fans of survival building. In 2023, the trailers, as usual, looked promising and atmospheric. But when early access hit a year later, the reception wasn't all that rosy anymore. We watched content creators livestream this and they struggled finding any positives. Lack of polish, limited social mechanics and awful combat. But alright, this was in development after all. Then, in May, they announced that they needed to revamp all the core features to what we would best describe as make this feel more like any other successful MMO. They had to do a major wipe too, and fans were still supporting the devs, although all progress was gone. Then, July came around and they announced that PAX Day's full release will be this autumn, with a subscription-based model. And while this is nothing new in the MMORPG sphere, this situation is a bit special indeed. If you're an early access founder, you will keep your access to the game, just as you paid for. But you will also have to buy and spend so-called plot tokens to keep your building plots for 1 month. Meanwhile, players had paid for unlimited access to the game and specified amount of plots, thinking they could keep them forever. But the developer responds to criticism on Steam by adding the clause that they had included the term for the entire duration of early access and never meant to grant you anything forever. So what do we learn from this mess? Stay clear of this one and always read carefully if you want to support early access games. Nintendo has raised hardware prices in the US, covering not only its consoles, but also accessories like Joy-Con controllers and amiibos. The Switch Lite and OLED model are now about 15% more expensive, while amiibos cost 25% more. However, their most recent console, the Switch 2, appears to have already factored in recent changes and will keep its current price. The First Descendant just promoted an NPC to a full-fledged playable character. With Season 3, you can now step into the boots of Nell, the executive officer of Albion headquarters. She's a hybrid DPS who uses both firepower and her telekinetic abilities. The perfect mix if your aim isn't exactly sharpshooter level. After all, hitting enemies is a lot easier when they are floating helplessly in mid-air. New Rust content was just revealed, and we promise it's not what you expected. After 3 years of quiet development, Level Infinite has teased a mobile version of Rust. Crossplay with the PC version is not planned, so the original game remains untouched. There is no gameplay footage yet, but a first demo will be playable at Gamescom in late August. Likely our first real peek at how all this will play out on a phone screen. And the next in line for crossover with Cyberpunk Edgerunner is Guilty Gear Strive. Netrunner Lucy joins the roster as the game's first crossover character, bringing cybernetic and hacking-themed abilities into the battle. She's armed with an iconic monowire and quick hacks, and even launches alongside a new cyberpunk-inspired stage on August 21st. Naraka Bladepoint is the third game to announce a new hero this week. Maybe we should turn this into a standalone section. Nah, just kidding. Eno1 joins the game with a kit for fans of high mobility and evasion playstyles, centered around lightning abilities. He launches alongside the new game mode Rift Traversal, a PvPvE extraction mode that has been in testing phase on PC since July and is now available on all platforms. Although it's still under development, a passionate modder named Unknown321 has successfully implemented a 2-player co-op mode for Metal Gear Solid 5. Only a handful of missions are playable for now, and the modder warns that the clients will crash often, but you could, in theory, both be Snake together. And lastly, for this week's free games. The Elder Scrolls Online is completely free this weekend on all platforms, until August 12th. And if you loved it, they have a deep discount going right now too. On Steam, you can try out 4-player co-op roguelite Linked for free this weekend. And over on the Epic Games Store, grab Road Redemption, a co-op road rage adventure for adults. But that's all for this week. We hope you're enjoying summer with your favorite people, and we'll see you again in the next one.